Hi, good evening. Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm just gonna wait for a little bit more time so that more people join in and then we can start the session. Alright, hi guys, good evening. I hope you're having a lovely Thursday evening. Alright, so welcome to today's live session, and today we're going to be discussing about understanding and overcoming stress, which is something that is very important in today's day and age. And our expert for today is Rachita Kanwar. She is a counseling psychologist, and I will quickly let her in.
Hi, am I audible?
Rachita, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. So I'm super excited for this session because it's something that all of us need to understand stress and find better ways to cope with it. So first things first, Rachita, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey towards becoming a psychologist.
Yes, my name is Rachita. I'm a counseling and industrial psychologist. I did my master's in industrial psychology, after which I worked for a while, but then I kind of knew that I want to get into counseling more. So then I studied again and I did my PGDM in counseling and guidance psychology from St. Xavier's College, Bombay. And here I am. I am taking sessions and I do a lot of webinars and workshops related to mental health. So, yeah, that's how it is.
Awesome. So let's just dive right into the topic. So tell us a little bit about what exactly is stress, and what are some of the signs and symptoms, or if I may even call them red flags that happen in the body when somebody's stressed out.
Okay, so stress is the most, I think, normal human reaction. And I think our bodies are made in such a way that we experience stress and we know how to fight it out. And during the stress, there's a lot of mental, physical reactions that one faces, including chest pains, trouble in sleeping, eating disorders. Either you eat too much or too little, that can be gain of weight, and sometimes you start losing weight as well. Then there might be trouble relaxing, weak immune system, and after which, whenever you stress, there's a lot of physical symptoms that you see. That is, you start having digestive issues, bodily issues. You start having backaches, and in the behavioral reactions, you might see a lot of irritation, anger, probably just lashing out on somebody, getting really angry, irritability. So there are these signs that people might not really look out for. There are times that when you have headaches as well. So that's when you're stressed out about something. You're thinking about something and you're stressing over it. So these are these little symptoms and signs that people might think that it's just very normal for all of us to go through. Definitely, it might be in the most normal situations, but then this is like the red flag for the stress that is really taking over you.
All right. And how can one sort of differentiate between, chronic stress and something that is more situational or, happening because of a certain
Yeah.
situation facing at the
So
moment?
during the acute stress, it's like very minimal. Episodic is also like just happens and goes away. It's nothing like you keep thinking about. But in the chronic stress, these are the symptoms that will go on for a while. You might keep getting headaches. You might not be able to sleep for a few days. Not like just for one night you're not able to sleep and the next morning you wake up saying, "Oh, I have stress." That's not it. It needs to happen for a while. It goes on for a long time, because of which you need to go for it, like a therapy probably. And I think before it turns into chronic after acute, take prevention before you have to go for a cure. So in case somebody is aware that, oh, this is happening with me, I'm not feeling it right, and sometimes your body just knows it that, listen, I'm not feeling it right. There's something wrong with me, and definitely listen to your body, listen to what your body tells you. And if you're not feeling it, I think before you have to go for a cure later on, get to the prevention strategy, and probably take therapy if you want. That's okay.
All right. So what are the common causes of stress? I mean, I'm sure you meet a lot of patients and, you might experience, I mean, get to know their causes. So, what are some of the most common causes for stress?
So see, for everybody, the causes are really different. It can be because of your job, your marriage, your family. There's somebody that gives you stress. A person gives you stress. People say that, oh, this person, I don't like being with that person probably, or whenever I meet, I'm not feeling it right. So yes, individuals also give us stress, and definitely there are few relations that you cannot get over it, like probably a family member that you need to stay with the person. So instead of not being with the person, have your boundaries so that you don't get the stress. So it can be your financial issues, work, family, people around you, your friends, anybody. Anybody can give you stress, but it's very important to recognize who gives you stress. Because the time you know, oh, this is my stressor, at least you can take the plan forward and work towards it.
Alright. Um, I'm sure there are a lot of people who deal with stress in their own way. Some deal with, some deal with it in a very positive way, and some
Yeah.
maybe, have very negative coping mechanisms. So could you please enlighten us on that?
So the positive stress, that is the you stress, is basically that challenges you and motivates you to move forward. For example, there's a deadline, and that motivates you instead of making you, probably not in a good position that, oh my God, what is going to happen? Will I be able to work forward or not? It probably motivates you more better, and you're able to take over it. And because of which you might, when the thing happens and the good stress really gets you the result, you might start believing in yourself. You might have a mindset that, oh, this is how I'm supposed to go along with it. But in the negative ones, people start to start drinking, smoking. They think that, oh, these are my coping mechanisms. It might be good for you to enjoy for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, probably for the entire hour, day, but then it's not good for the long run, obviously. And with these negative mechanisms, it can give you low tolerance because you're overdosing on stuff. That gives you low tolerance. There's a lot of BP issues. So instead of relying yourself over these caffeine related, over caffeine also, people who drink a lot of coffee can go through it. And so I think it's very important to realize that, oh, if it's a good stress, then you should also take it in a very normal manner, because too much of good stress can become bad stress. When you start exaggerating, when you start putting stress on yourself that, oh, मेरा deadline यही है, मेरे को करना ही है, you start putting pressure on yourself. So it's no more a good stress. It doesn't motivate you, but it makes you really in a bad position. So that's like a bad stress then. So there's like a very thin line between good stress and bad stress. You need to like differentiate and be there. So yeah.
So talking about good stress, do you ever feel that stress is a necessity, useful, or is it really good in some way? Like why exactly
I
does
think
stress exist?
I think
Um,
it is. I think till the time I'm also not stressed about something, if I'm not stressed about, for example, the live session. Had I not been stressed that, oh, it's at 5 p.m., I would like not be here. I'd be like somewhere else thinking that, oh, later I'll do it. What's the point of being here? So sometimes the stress is good because it motivates you to do better. It puts you in a way that, okay, this is how it's supposed to be, and probably it just makes you realize what is your priority. But definitely, I'm not going to like over stress myself that I'm going to start panicking about it or start thinking about it since a long time. I'm going to take my time and make sure that the good stress stays there. It's not turning into bad stress then.
Awesome. Can you also tell us a little bit about the fight or flight response and how does stress relate to that?
So basically, it's an automatic response through your body that tells you there's a threatening or a frightening situation that's coming up. So your body starts managing it. So your body is in the fight or flee mode. Sorry. So definitely, when you know that this situation is frightening for me, this is something that is threatening, and I need to be aware. So your body automatically prepares itself for it. So it is very necessary because it makes you perform under pressure. It makes you realize that, oh, this is the threatening situation, and I need to overcome it. So the flight and flee response is basically just making your body aware and in control of what is going to happen. That is threatening, probably.
All right. Now that we've sort of known what exactly stress is, what are the causes, how can one avoid or reduce the stress in their life? Like, what are some of the best techniques or tools that you can give us to help reduce the stress in our lives?
So I think it's very important to meditate, exercise, eat well, eat a healthy, nice diet. I understand all of us love junk, but then have all your nutrition. Deep breathing exercises, yes, I think once a day at least practice deep breathing. Um, After which, have a schedule for yourself, have a routine, sleep on time, because too many times when you're sleeping at 5, 6 a.m. and we wake up at a particular time, for example, if you're working and you wake up at 9 a.m., so the entire sleep has not been completed, your day is definitely not going well, and you function very halfway. It's not completely there. Then, yeah, so get enough sleep, get moving, motivate yourself, avoid too much caffeine and sugar because we love coffee, we love caffeine. I drink coffee, but I make sure it's once a day. And just for the good sleep, I make sure I don't have it in the evening. I only have it in the morning so that it's recommended that you don't have coffee 6 hours before you sleep. So I kind of make sure that it's just in the morning, and in the evening, I'm going to have something very normal, as simple as juice or even water. But it's very important to realize that make sure your sleep is good, you get moving, you connect to the people who give you positive vibes. Like I said, that your stresses can be people. So if there's somebody who gives you stress, avoid, like, just maintain a distance if there's somebody who's really giving you stress. After that, you can challenge your stress into something more creative. Probably take up a hobby, do something that you like. Like in last lockdown, everybody was stressed out and completely in a lockdown. It was in a good time for anybody, and I thought that's what I saw, that everybody was getting into activities, painting, baking, cooking. Everybody was doing something that they enjoyed doing. So that's how you can challenge your stress into something more creative, and you will feel better and just learn to relax it out. So, yeah.
Speaking of the pandemic, but it's been like over a year and it's still not over. And I know
Hmm.
a lot of people are stressed because it's not getting over and we're not going back to the old normal that we had. So how to deal with this kind of a stress better? Like, but since we're so uncertain about what's to come for tomorrow, like how to cope with that? Do you have any tips for that?
So see, I understand that this is happening, but we need to realize that all of us are in this together. Definitely, a few people take stress a little more negatively than the others. They might cope up in a very different manner. But it's important for us to realize that we need to take our own prevention. You wouldn't panic if you wouldn't take your own prevention. Take prevention. Make sure that you get vaccinated right now, at least. And in case you can't go out of your house right now, the world is out. Yes, everyone's going out, so it's fine. But in case of anything, make sure that you at least take a little fresh air. Probably sit in your balcony or near the window, but make sure there's a lot of sunlight and nature around you. After which, spend time with your family. Definitely after that, take me time. I'm not saying spend time throughout there. Me time is really important. Your priority, your self love is really important. So make sure you take your me time, but connect with the people who really make you smile. And even the Instagram, if I would say. So it would, like in the last time, I would see all the stories for beds and oxygen cylinders and everything. And that was very overwhelming for people, even the news. So stop being like obsessively with the, crazy about the news, like you have to watch it every day. Probably just watch it once a day and don't get obsessed with it. And if you still want to know something about it, that what's happening, what's not happening, probably talk to somebody who you trust, who would give you the reliable information with what's happening. But don't obsess over the news, because that is definitely going to overwhelm you. So have a break, but make sure that you stay connected with people and take up a hobby.
Now, if all these tips and tools and techniques are not working and we're not able to help ourselves, how exactly is stress treated? What kind of treatment works best for it? Is it therapy, is it medication?
So therapy definitely works with stress. That can happen due to the CVT, that is changing your negative thoughts into a little more positive, or probably changing your irrational beliefs into positive and rational beliefs. So definitely your therapy works. Medication is not required, honestly. Definitely when it reaches a peak, when I told you that take your cure before the prevention before the cure. So if you go for the therapy during your prevention times, I'm sure it's going to be fine, because you will definitely get out of it. And there might be a lot of feelings and thoughts that really run in your mind. So when you talk to a person in therapy, so the therapy is really stress free. You talk about stuff, and it's a lot of communication. There's a lot of non judgment, safe place. The entire time when you know that you're talking to somebody who's literally not going to judge you for anything you do and it's going to be confidential. So I think by the end of it, everyone is a little more relaxed than when they come in. So you can go for therapy for sure for stress. And I take clients who have stress for therapy. So definitely therapy is a good option.
All right. And also, how can one really find? I'm sure it is a little bit of a trial and error to find a counselor that you gel with and you're comfortable with. Do you have any tips on how people can find a good counselor for themselves?
Yeah. So first, it's very important to know the qualification because there are a lot of counselors who have done probably like a certification course only for a month or two, and they practice which is not ethical. So firstly, know the qualifications of the individual providing therapy. After which, even if you change like 20 therapists, that's very normal because we get married to somebody who's the one for us, who we connect to, who we know would understand us. At the same point, you should go to a therapist who's the one for you, who can understand your issues. You have a trust built, you have a lot of rapport that's being built. So it's very important that you take a session, you see if you're at a comfort level. Obviously, in the first session, the clients don't tell us everything in the world. It takes a while, but I think in the first go, you would realize if you really connect, like if the understanding is there, if the person really trusts you, then go for it. But even if you change like 20, 30 therapists, it's fine. You're finding the one for you. You don't have to be sorry for it. So, however, जितने भी हो, just go for it. It's fine.
That's some good tips. I mean, of course, I think with this, patience goes a long way and just trusting the process. All
Yeah.
right. Now my last question for you is, how can one live a stress-free life?
Oh, so see, stress is important to us, like the good stress. I think everybody needs it. But then, how to live a stress-free life? I think a little stress is necessary, but I think stop overgeneralizing stuff. Stop telling yourself that if that happened, this is going to happen again. Stop living in the past that really makes you overwhelmed and stressed out. Start living in the present moment. That is being mindful about stuff. That's when I told you start meditation and everything because that's going to make you mindful. After that, stop surrounding yourself with people who give you that stress. If there's certainly somebody who you can probably start avoiding who gives you stress, go for it. But if there's somebody who you cannot, have boundaries. But you need to realize that it's obviously you, and if you are not keeping up well, and that stress really takes over you, takes a toll on you. So that's going to give you a lot of changes in your body as well, like stomach issues, back issues, headaches, everything. So definitely you cannot have like a stress-free life. Definitely there are times when you're not thinking about stuff, but a little stress is definitely better for you. So take it in a good manner. Don't make it bad stress altogether. So yeah.
All right. Um, Guys, if you have any questions for Rajata, please put them in, and she'd be happy to answer. Okay, there is someone who's written to us. She says, "I'm depressed as I've put on a lot of weight after having a baby, and her family's been torturing her, and mother-in-law is torturing her. Sorry, and my husband is not
Mhm.
supporting me and body shaming me. What should I do?"
So I don't like really understand what are these tick marks with the body, like what is that ideal body? Firstly, it's your journey, that's your body. Don't compare yourself with people. And there's somebody who's torturing you. If there's somebody who you cannot have, you cannot avoid, you have to stay there. Obviously, I understand that's your family. So I think start having boundaries, start letting them know what is good to talk, what is not something that you wouldn't, understand. That's something that obviously you cannot just tell anybody. So there's something that you need to put out, communicate it to them, and they wouldn't listen to you. You want to tell somebody, take therapy, and if you can't take therapy for XYZ reason, start writing down what you feel. Whatever you're feeling, start writing it down. But I think take a step and tell them that this is something that is really bothering you because at the end, communication will definitely help.
All right. I hope that answers your question. Guys, if you have any more questions, please put them in. Now you're talking about, setting boundaries.
Yeah.
What are some, healthy ways of setting boundaries without sort of offending the other person or, upsetting them? And how it happens in relationships wherein people just
Yeah,
get stressed out by each other, and it just, I mean, the problem only escalates from there. So how can you
yeah.
set healthy boundaries?
So I think it's very important to make sure that the boundaries happen from the beginning, firstly, because when you suddenly change and you come up with boundaries, that's going to be like different for the other person too, and they might not understand. So I think from the very beginning, start having boundaries, start to say a no, tell the person what, no, that's okay. Tell the person what is right for you, what is wrong for you. You should be able to put on your thoughts, your feelings, and not just say a yes because your partner says so. So let the partner know that you've got your own thoughts and feelings. You say a no to things that you don't want to do, and you don't just do it because the other person wants you to do it. Because that is like people pleasing. Then you do what other people want you to do. So start realizing that this is your life. You're an individual, and say a no. Tell the person what is right, what is wrong, and I'm sure the person will understand. And if not, then I think you get the person to me. Then I'll talk to him for setting boundaries.
All right. I think the same person has written how to be more productive and have a routine in life. As I have a small baby and I have a lot of household chores, and I have no time for myself and I feel stressed out.
Okay. So definitely, yes, it is important for us to be productive, but it's very important for us to concentrate on ourselves as well. So make sure that you prioritize what is that one thing that needs to be done. If you've really got some work, if there's something that needs to be completed, prioritize that first. Do your work and then give time to your baby and family and everything. But make sure you prioritize what is a priority to you. There's no like कि अगर यहाँ पे two चीजें कर ली तो वहाँ पे भी करनी. It's not a checklist. It's basically what is important to you. But at the same point, to keep a routine and be motivated, have a to-do list, write down what is the important thing and make sure that you write it down. Probably talk to somebody who really makes you more connected. And like she said, I think that she has a small baby and she's do all the household chores by herself. So probably talk to somebody who's going to probably be a helping hand to you, and you don't have to do the entire household chores altogether and handle the baby. But make sure that you give time to yourself also, because if you wouldn't, and if you would just juggle between the baby and the chores, that's really going to take a stress and toll over you than anything. And when you stress that, you wouldn't be able to do either. So I think concentrate on yourself first and prioritize yourself.
I think that's some very valuable information. I mean, only if you take care of yourself can you take care of others.
Yeah.
Um, all right. I don't think we have any more questions. Guys, do you have any more questions? Okay. Rachita, please tell us where can people connect with you, reach out to you, and please share your details so that people can, get in
Yeah.
touch with you in case they need any help and
So
want to seek out.
definitely they can DM me because I'm very active there, and even there's like an email button so they can like tap on it and send me an email like people do. And I do reply, not like I don't. So definitely you can get in touch with me and then we can move forward if you need therapy, if there's something that's troubling you or you want to ask something as simple as if you're not comfortable coming to me, if you want to go to somebody else, I can still refer somebody else to you. But just like DM me or email it to me and I will reply. So yeah.
That's very sweet. All right, guys, this is Rachita Kanwar. You can follow her at Your Wellness Counselor, and we will save this IGTV so that you can go back to it and maybe uh, you know s- um, just see whatever we've discussed in the session. And please follow her for all the amazing content that she creates, so that you can improve your mental well-being and your overall well-being as well. So,
Thank
Rachana,
you.
thank you so much for doing this with us.
Thank you for
And
having me.
it was awesome, and I'm sure I took away a lot of points to help reduce my stress, and I think the audience would have also benefited. And thank you everyone for joining in, and have a nice day and a lovely weekend that's coming up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.